What is up, everybody? Welcome to an pregame early Tuesday afternoon episode of the Empire 161 show. Jerry's jamming out here to the Imperial March. Can't really top that kind of level of entertainment. Thanks for joining us. We really appreciate it as always. We've had a nice, interesting week of Yankee baseball to discuss. Jerry, what's up, dude? What's going on?
What's going on? Everything is great here. This show is brought to you by Sazeraki Kaki, and This is a good one on the rocks. Good for everyone to knock off your socks.
Wow.
Cheers.
Okay.
Yes.
Did you rehearse that, or was that that's really just off the top of the head?
Off the top of the head.
I like it.
El Natural.
Okay. Mm-hmm. Well, thanks whether you're joining us on the Facebook live stream or on YouTube or on Instagram or podcasts, or whether it's Apple iTunes or Spotify, wherever the heck you did find the show. It's all over the place. But check it out. Check out the popculturepros.com. That's pretty much where the umbrella that this show falls under, along with tons of other shows. We'll talk about that part later. But it's a big night on Pop Culture Pros. We got us on the leadoff spot, and you got Just Too Sweet if you're into wrestling right after that. And then Four Quarter Show is on tonight, where they cover various things all across sports. So there's lots of stuff going on over here. Oh wow! So we got the boss man over here, Steve Faraci, jumping in quick. We're drinking early. I like.
Yes.
He's both rooting for the Mets this week. Yes. Yeah. I mean, it's going to help out the Yanks. So why not? We're not haters. Not at all.
I don't like the Mets. I don't like them at all.
I don't like it.
There's a reason. Long story, another show. We'll go into
we're going to talk
trauma.
We'll talk about Jerry's trauma of disliking the Mets as a kid growing up in New York City in the 80s.
As you know, I root for the Red Sox before the Mets. Yes, it's documented. It's out there in the universe and beyond, the multiverse.
Wow, that is a bold statement there, my friend. What's up, Tim? What's going on?
Double TIMTA double BALLA. Tim Tabala. What's up, Tim? Yeah.
What is going on? So let's just jump right into this thing, man. Let's get going. Like we did say, we got a bunch of shows coming on after us too. So let's get to it. As always, we'll kick off with our TWIB segment. That's This Week in Baseball, where we cover various things that have came across. Go ahead, Jerry. Do the music.
Go ahead. By the way, when you see the MLB symbol, I want to know one day. You don't have to answer me now. You can answer me in 10 years.
Go ahead, whatever.
Is it a lefty or a righty? And is the ball going to hit him, or is it a really good curveball? You know, the symbol of the MLB.
Yeah. I think it's supposed to not be one or the other. I think it's supposed to be lefty or righty. That's what I think it is. It's like a trick photography or something like that.
I stared at it for a long time, like a few years ago, and I could not figure it out. I couldn't figure it out whatsoever. But
wow,
anyway.
So people are trying to stare at those pictures of trying to find like a secret picture in a boat or whatever it is, like they have in the movie Mallrats. But you're staring at the MLB logo and trying to figure out whether he's left or righty and what kind of pitch is coming in.
Yeah, but that was during dinner with oregano. So there's an excuse for that. Yeah.
Well, that kind of explains a lot right there.
Yeah, but it was an enjoyable time. Let's continue.
I'm sure it was. So I know we were talking about this pre-show, but dude, that Dodgers Padres series over the weekend was pretty incredible.
Amazing.
Yeah, seriously.
Yeah.
I mean, that's kind of like a brand of baseball that we're kind of a little bit more interested in, like less strikeouts, not just home run or bust, not just the 3 true outcomes of home run, walk, or strikeout. A lot of exciting games. The Padres took 2 out of 3. The Sunday night game I actually found to be the craziest one. Yeah, that was on Sunday Night Baseball, where the Padres ended up winning in extra innings. What did you think of the situation? I guess this can tie into another subject, but the situation with the, as some call, the ghost runner or the free runner on second base in extra innings. I mean, do you think it hurt that game? I mean, because the Dodgers were up 7-1 at one point, and the Padres came roaring back in the 9th inning to tie it, to push it into extra innings, which got us to the 2020/2021 extra innings rule. Do you think it screwed it up, or do you think it kind of like, do you think it added to the excitement? I mean, I know we're both baseball purists, but I mean, you can tie it in. What's your stance on it?
And I'm going to make a prediction and a comment on this. Is that okay?
Prediction?
Yeah, prediction.
This could be pain. Go ahead.
All right, it will not be pain. The prediction is that Let Them Play is going to take over in 2021. I think everybody knows that's going to happen eventually, but I'm calling it for this year. We're going to look back on this season and say, this was the year where Let Them Play really took over baseball, not just the World Baseball Classic like we discussed in the past, but Let Them Play is going to take over. And I think the new rules, I am a purist. I'm all about, oh man, like it's great, the old baseball, but I think the years of let's win one for the old Gipper and the mighty Casey has struck out, it's going to be in a rearview mirror, and it's going to be accelerated fast, just like the world is going. Let Them Play will take over. The guy on second base in extra innings, I can't believe I'm saying this. I love it. I love it.
Okay.
I still think the home team, of course, has the advantage. You get last licks. You're going to get your guy on second. I love it. I'm usually a purist, but I'm changing, and I'm all about hit the home run, hit the chest, all that. Maybe you break your chain, because a lot of these guys that do that have big chains.
I was going to tie in though. Wait, hold on. Isn't Let Them Play part of chain and the style and being yourself? No.
Yeah, I think that is part of it, and I think it just adds to it. And it's just going to talk. It's going to go into the shit talking. Basketball, it's a part of it, and I think baseball, that's great. I mean, here in Brooklyn, Queens, New York City, the Sangria, high school games, they get heated, but people talk shit, and that's the way it is. No one's expecting to actually fight, but you got guys, with the bats, palo, el pitch, la loca, el tres, like all game, and it's fun and it's awesome, and people get hyped up. I think I even got a few more hits just from people hyping me up on that. And then you talk shit. You're at second base. You're saying things to the pitcher. You're getting them out of sorts just to get that extra run. It's going to be a great year with Let Them Play. We're going to turn the corner, and that brand of baseball is going to take over again. I can't wait for it. I hope I don't sound like A-Rod there. Let's see who's next. Absolutely. Yes. Yeah. Like Tony Gwynn. How many times they mentioned Tony Gwynn during that telecast? And I have to tell, I love A-Rod on the mic.
He's good. He's good.
He's great. So anyway, thank you for the ability, or for the opportunity, I should say, to make that prediction and that comment. Eddie, I love it. I love both of it. Let Them Play, guy on second. Let it happen. Okay.
All right. I mean, that's a bold thing. I mean, we can. Well, how much did you get to check out a couple of the Dodgers-Padres games over the weekend? Because I know it's late night baseball. So I mean,
Did I check it out?
Make it through or not?
I checked it out with one eye open at times. I checked it out, obviously, in my underwear. I checked it out fully clothed as well.
Okay.
It was awesome.
Variety.
There's double steals. There's hit and runs. There's guys that are not trying to do too much and just hitting the ball in the opposite field, sack flies, and actually looking like they're just protecting the plate and getting the ball into the outfield. Swings that are cut short because there's a guy on third, one out. It's just excellent. I mean, that to me is like a main event fight night to watch those two teams go at it. And you know how much I love a big fight night on a Saturday night.
Yeah, absolutely.
Matches it. But those two teams going at it just reminded me of like 98 Yankees. Like, they gave us an inch. It's over.
Mid-2000s Yankees Red Sox also.
Absolutely.
03, 04 around there.
And it was that inch. Like, you walked him? Forget it. Now 2-2 hit and run. Now this guy might even steal. Oh, this guy's up. That's definitely. It's like it was almost automatic. Sack fly, ground ball to second, making the plays. It was glory days, and we're going back. We're definitely going back. So those two teams going at it. I just pray for the sake of the baseball gods that they allow us to see them go at it in an NLCS. That would be
phenomenal. I would really be. Yeah. I think that'd be really, really awesome. The Padres are stepping up to the plate. I mean, they got Fernando Tatis Jr. What did he hit? Like 5-7 home runs over the weekend? I mean, that dude was on fire. It was out of control.
Yeah, for every era, he has a home run. Almost. Just kidding. No. See, I shouldn't hate on that.
No. Well, listen. I mean, whatever. He's got a tough start in the field, but he is one of the faces of baseball right now, and honestly, it's good to see him, shine on the national stage, because they were on like Sunday Night Baseball. I think they were the national game on MLB Network on Saturday night. Like I'm watching it, I'm turning on the games after the Yanks and everything, and Angie's like, do the Dodgers and Padres play like every single night? Because I know they just played like a weekend or two as well. I mean, it's good for the game though.
Totally great. It's great for the game. I don't know if they got lucky with better than I do on that with the Sunday night game. Yeah. But it was perfect timing. It was like, oh, baseball is here. Baseball's back. I know the people that love baseball watching from the beginning, but I think for other people that are like, okay, there's other sports that are winding down. End of April, watching those two teams go at it. Great telecast. It was perfect timing. It was great to have it on a Sunday night game that starts earlier. Awesome.
Yeah, that did. We were advocating for that for a while.
Absolutely. So it was just great. It was a great week for baseball. The Oakland A's as well. I mean, they're winning streak. They're one of the best teams in baseball, along with the Red Sox. I mean, I don't know what's going on, and the Kansas City Royals.
It's wacky.
So
it's a wacky.
It's weird. It's a wacky 2020. I just hope 2021 isn't as wacky, but it's a wacky start for sure.
Yeah, let's grab into jump into a few of these comments as well here, and then we'll further it. Let's look at the MLB The Show, which actually Jerry and I used to play until like we passed out years ago. We used to play on the PS3. We played best of 7 series. Well, go ahead, say it.
I blame that game. I'm not a huge video game guy. I mean, when I was young, of course.
Yeah.
But sports games, I love it. That game was so great when it first came out and we played until God knows when, and then went to work the next day. I think it's the reason why I make $50,000 less. I really do. I think that game, the show, and beating you in these ridiculous chess matches.
When you did win, but eventually that
come
ended.
Come on,
Stop.
Whatever. The point is,
you get ass handed to you after a while.
No, that's fiasco.
No, hold on.
Stop.
Let me clarify.
No,
you were getting your ass handed to you because I was winning the series. But the series would always go 6 or 7 games.
I don't remember that.
Yeah, of course you don't. It's very convenient.
I don't remember that whatsoever. But I do know this: is that working was a priority. Other things were a priority, and then the show was a freaking priority. And I think if I had more focus in the career aspect, I would definitely be making tens of thousands of dollars of more money. But the memories, I don't know what the price is on that. But those games were ridiculous chess matches. They were absurd. It went down. It always went. That game has to be one of the best games of all time. But anyway,
I do love it.
Yeah, a lot.
I haven't played in years due to time, but yeah, no, good. A lot of tired. Playing until 1, 2 in the morning or whatever. Yeah,
and then on top of that, going to work the next day, looking hungover when I didn't even do anything wrong. I didn't drink last night. I didn't have spaghetti with oregano. I didn't do any of that stuff, and it looks like I did because I'm just exhausted. It's like, what a nerd. He's like just trying to beat Eddie in the show.
So Farachi's also chiming in with, I've always created myself and put myself at shortstop. Need to find a new position this year. Got it for PS5. That's one thing we never did, though. We never actually created players. We always would just pick teams. Our only rule was that you couldn't pick the Yankees because we're all Yankees fans. So it was like, all right, no one wants to argue over who picks them. So we really had to like dive deep. And I was picking the Tigers at the time, whatever that classic.
That was so annoying. You hit a home run and it just zooms into the Tiger like.
Oh yeah, that was absolutely hilarious. It was great.
And you always had the player one stick. You always had the player one control. So, you got to hit the button to let it go. And you'd like make me stare at the Tiger like,
That's it. Oh, yeah. No, I would make sure that it was in your face. Franz is also saying used to play 7-game series in that too. NBA Live, 2K, NHL. Actually, when I was with Jerry's cousin at the Yankees-Braves game last Tuesday. And we started getting into this discussion about old school video games. We were talking about RBI baseball. We were talking about MLB baseball on Nintendo. Blades of Steel. He didn't know about Lakers versus Celtics. How crazy is that?
That's crazy. That's another one that went to 3 a.m. very often when I was younger with my cousin Jeremy and a few other friends. That guy on the Suns was really good. I remember
Tom
that.
Chambers and David Robinson were unstoppable in that game. Tim knows about Tom Chambers.
David Robinson would miss a shot every now and then, but Chambers never missed. It was unbelievable. I don't know how he did that. Yeah,
it was out of control. But also, baseball ratings have been up, Farachi. They absolutely have. I think there was a day MLB reported. Was it in the first? I don't know. It was the first like 18 games or something like that. It was like one of the highest rated that they've ever had through MLB.TV. So it shows you that there are a lot of people. Because Jerry and I used to talk about like ratings in baseball. Does it mean anything? Does it not mean anything? And my argument was always like, hey, listen, ratings are only for TV, but you need to get something that can quantify like streaming, TV, like all of it together. Then you could truly find out who's really watching the game or not. TV ratings are nice, but it's not the whole story. That's pretty much, what I was saying.
The only time I disagree with that, Ed, is when there's another game on, a football game, a basketball game, and they're going apples to apples. So they're on Channel 7. This is on, a playoff game, let's say with the Yankees, not the Yankees, a playoff game for baseball and week whatever in football, and football kicks baseball's ass. That drives me crazy. So we're getting there. We're getting there where I think more and more people are going to dive more into baseball. And I know that there's money on a lot of football games and nobody cares more about their anything than their money. And there's a lot of reasons. It's once a week and all that. But when you got a Game 5 game in the playoffs in baseball versus, who knows, the Jets against,
I'll say Dolphins, Titans. I don't know whether they came out of my pretty good.
Whatever, yeah, exactly. Or the Jacksonville. Like, come on. Like, that should not be beating a playoff baseball game. So that's the only time where I disagree, where the ratings matter. If baseball's getting 5.6 and that game's getting 15, 20, that's ridiculous. That's ridiculous. So baseball's got to do a better job and starting to kick football's ass and basketball's ass more and more. And I think it's possible. It could happen. It's getting better and better. This year so far, even though the Yankees are off to a bad start, has been awesome.
It's been a really good baseball season overall, even despite the Yanks getting off to a tough start. But hopefully, we'll get into discussing more when they turn it around. So we got one other interesting question. I wanted to see where your stance was because we're talking about let them play. But Farachi, he runs the Put It in the Book show, the Met show here on Pop Culture Pros.
Put it in the book.
Put It in the Book show. That's what it's called.
What about Put It on the Board? Yeah, Chicago.
That's the White Sox.
They
should get a White Sox show and call it that. Yeah. That means our beards allowed on your team. I don't think that falls into the let them play thing. I think that's more of a, pinstripes being like a very clean, cut uniform and stuff like that. The road grays are also the clean cut look. I think it goes more about that. And it also goes with when George bought the team of his belief of, you want to have like a professional, you just want to appear professionally. I mean, I know when I played high school basketball, we had a whole thing where our coach had us going ahead and wearing khakis and button downs on game days. We would have to wear that to school those days, even though we didn't have uniforms, and wear it to the game because it was just kind of like you'd almost have like
with sneakers, Eddie.
No, I don't know, shoes.
You had to wear shoes.
No, full thing, everything, like
button up,
literally.
Button up.
Yeah, no, seriously.
Wow. Did he pay for it? Did the coach pay for it?
No, but I mean, we had to go ahead and I'm assuming everyone owned the stuff. I mean, it was fine. No one had any gripes about it. But the point was, it was about getting into like a mentality and a belief. It was just like, hey, listen, we're here for business. We're here to do what we need to do. And that's kind of what I've always tied in with that. I don't have an issue with the facial hair policy with the Yankees. What do you think of it?
It's ridiculous. I think they should be able to have a clean beard. I think they should be able to have a clean mustache, Manning style. Even a little handlebar.
Mustache.
Yeah, but I don't know. It could be bushy. It could be a bushy mustache. It could be handlebars. It could be down, like Goose Gossage. Why not?
You would want Johnny Damon to show up on the Yankees the way he looked on the Red Sox.
That's not clean cut. I think there is something to be said about being clean cut. But I think a beard that's very clean cut, use their discretion, we're all adults, is perfectly fine. I think it gets a little bit ridiculous with the Yankees sometimes. I'm telling you, Eddie, I'm evolving. I'm expanding my horizons. I'm open to like letting them play. I'm open to guy on second.
Wow.
I'm open to getting the game going. Like, let's go. Even though, fine, free baseball is always awesome. But yeah, let them play. Let them grow facial hair. Clean cut. Present yourself in the right way. You are a Yankee.
But my whole thing though is that you create a gray area.
whatever. I think that's good though. Like, and if it's controversy with the press, like, oh, his beard is too long, it's ridiculous and stupid. But more eyes on the page, and that's some things that wives go into, right? Like, oh, I heard this guy grew a beard and it's too long. What's going on with that? So like you got women to start watching a little bit. Whether the guy looks good in the uniform, the guy looks good with his beard, they actually love baseball and they want to watch every game. Awesome, that's great. But you want more and more people to like get into things. So if it leads to the gray area, cool, whatever. It's like the front page of the paper that we remember when they had Madeline bald because supposedly he was growing his hair too long. And it was like this week-long talk about Mattingly's hair, which is ridiculous. But it got more people talking about the Yankees, and that's great.
Yeah, I mean, I also don't think that was really, the goal there. But no, Justin Turner's performance on the field is impacted by his beard. Like, again, it's just simply about the way you're going to present yourselves and things like that. It's fine. Not every team will go for that. I personally will not. I'm not going to lose any sleep if the Yankees decided tomorrow, we'll let people have facial hair. We're going to drop that policy. It doesn't make it one way or the other. My point is I'm just explaining what the mentality possibly is because, again, playing on a team that kind of had that, that's what I believe that they're going for. I also don't see anyone crying about it. They're not losing free agents over it. They're not doing anything. It is what it is. But as far as it goes with letting them play, that really ties more into like the baseball idea of, bat flips and, showing emotion at the plate. Even Trevor Bauer this weekend, when Tatis kind of mocked him for one thing that he was doing, Bauer actually being the pitcher that he was mocking, even said he liked it. He goes, let it happen. It's fine. It's not a big deal. Get him out.
Yeah.
That's all you got to do. You don't have to go in and drill the guy the next time.
And the thing is, these pitchers are so good. We have to remember, I guess balls get away from pitchers and they hit batters, of course, but they have pinpoint accuracy. Just so you know, if you're going to start celebrating after you hit a home run after your 40th at bat, if you get knocked on your ass and the ball's up and in, most pitchers are able to do that. Most pitchers are able to actually put you on your ass. So be ready for that. That's part of the game. It's okay. So, discretion all around. You're a hitter, you want to celebrate, just know you might get a cleat into third base if you're a third baseman, and they might keep it there for a little while, then get up on your foot. That's just the way the game is played. So it's part of it. So I love it. Let them do the bat flips. Let the pitcher spit on the floor towards the person, whatever. I think it just adds to the drama. It's a game. Let them play.
Okay, yeah, I honestly am not for the plunking anymore. I've kind of moved past that too. I think that's kind of ridiculous. So the cleats up. No, I'm just saying drilling the next batter that comes up, or a guy taking one in the numbers the next time up after he bat flips, whatever. I think that's kind of stupid, honestly. I think it's time to move past that. And we talked about it. A lot of people don't understand that. The last World Baseball Classic really is when a lot of teams started letting it out. Team USA had won it. Like we talked Dominican Republic and Puerto Rico. Ooh. And a lot of it, they just look like they were having fun. And by you watching the game at home, you're like, it's infectious then. You're kind of drawn into it more. And I think that'll help the game a lot if they if the game just collectively would say, something, let's move on and let's do this.
It's great. It's a guy that hits 2 home runs and is talking shit, and then here you know what's gonna happen. And that's how baseball is. He comes up in the 9th inning with the bases loaded and 2 outs. He's the guy that was talking shit after his big day, but your day doesn't mean crap unless you get a hit right now to win the game and you strike out. And the guy blew it past you. And that's when the game ends with, and then you remember that. And that's it. And that's who you are now. You're the guy who struck out with the bases loaded and you could have won that game and you talk so much shit. So the risk is there. Let it happen. I think it's awesome.
What do you think of the other major rule that's been in play, and it's really put in for pandemic safety purposes, and it ties into something that happened over the weekend, was the 7-inning doubleheaders. I understand it for the case of the pandemic, and they don't want people out and fans now, especially if the fans are back. They don't want people at the ballpark for crazy amounts of time. I get it. I really, really hope that this is not something permanent. It's not supposed to be. That it's kind of silly, and also ties into Mad Bum over the weekend when the Diamondbacks were facing the Braves. He didn't. All right, let me phrase this correctly. He gave up no hits in his start and pitched the full 7 innings, but does not get a credit with an official no-hitter. What do you think of that? What do you actually think of that? I personally do not think he should be credited with a no-hitter, but I understand the gripe about it because he pitched the scheduled amount of innings. It's not his fault. They didn't want to go 8 and 9. Number one, what do you think of the 7-inning doubleheaders? Number two, what do you think Mad Bum should be getting a no-hitter on his resume?
All right. 7-inning doubleheaders suck.
Yes.
No place for it in baseball. Ridiculous.
Softball, it's great.
Oh, yeah. It's Little League, awesome. Little League is 6 innings usually, right? But whatever. And high school is 7 innings. So, yeah, that sucks. Mad Bum with his no-hitter after, I feel bad because he finally pitched good for once. He's been so horrible. You got to feel bad for the guy. But it's not a no-hitter. That's it. It's just not a no-hitter. It's 7 innings, and chances are he would have given up a hit over the last 6 guys. And that's what usually does happen. So totally agree with you, Eddie. Not a no-hitter. Congratulations to Bumgarner for finding his pitching abilities again, because it was really hard. I think he gave up like 21 earned runs already, and the season just started. It was absurd.
Yeah.
So good for him. Take it and now leave it. It's not a no-hitter.
Oh, absolutely. But the crazy thing is that the Braves had 1 hit in the 14 innings.
Ridiculous.
Of the entire doubleheader. That's ridiculous.
It makes you think that the Braves went out to like Onyx or Cheetahs or some other places out there in Atlanta. They must have went to places that should be closed, but maybe they were open and then showed up for the game and got 1 hit. I don't know how the Atlanta Braves only got 1 hit in 14 innings. They're a much better team than that. But strange days. I mean, that's just the way it is right now in the world. Baseball always has crazy things that happen every single day, basically, if you pay attention. But that's up there. Like, what are the odds? What are the odds, like, on a bookie saying, I bet you tonight that the Atlanta Braves are going to get no hit in 7 innings, game over, and then they're going to get 1 hit in the next game. You got, like, it's $1 to what? $100,000 or more? It's ridiculous. It has to be ridiculous odds. So that's a crazy this week in baseball moment.
Yeah. So, all right. Well, let's move on to the Yanks, pretty much, what they've done this week. We'll start with the game that me and Daniel were actually at with the Yanks and Braves last Tuesday night. Yanks won 3-1, snapping their losing streak at the time.
Exciting.
No, it was. I mean, listen, I honestly think that through this, the big moment there was, I know the Braves pretty much like, there was a wild pitch, the Yanks scored the go-ahead run on, and there was a walk and everything else. So it's not like they were knocking the shit out of the ball. They haven't been knocking the shit out of the ball much this week. There was a couple of games we'll get into. But for me, the 2 big things, the Gio Urshela, by the way, your boy, hitting a home run into Monument Park was a pretty big deal.
How did he do that? Wow. He has power. That man has power. Gio Machino. Go ahead.
But J-Mo, though, went 5. He did go the 5 innings. They pulled him after that. I think he could have went a little further.
Yeah.
Giving up 4 hits, 1 earned run, 5 Ks, and 1 walk. And Chapman came in and locked it down at the end. Yeah. I mean, it was an exciting game to be there, and obviously to just see them like win and snap the losing streak or whatever. But still not quite knocking the shit out of the ball, though.
No. Well, first off, how was the stadium? How was it going? How was it there? Cousin Daniel.
Cousin Daniel was phenomenal. I mean, he's always great. I mean, again, we were talking about the old school video games at one point, but as far as the game goes, though, I mean, we were into it. We're actually like way down right field in the grandstand because they were actually tickets that Tim gave me. They were tickets that Tim gave me. He got from Yankees Universe. But the stadium itself, though, is that it is kind of odd. Well, you've been to a game already. It is kind of odd where there's only minimum, very 20% capacity. But the people that are there are into the damn game. I'll tell you that. I mean, they try to make as much noise as possible, as much as you can. So I like it, man. I enjoy it. There's no real lines for bathrooms. Concessions are wide open.
It's pretty cool in that way.
Yeah, it is kind of cool. There are benefits to it, but nothing's ever going to replace, roar of the crowd, Friday night, Yankees, Red Sox, like super, super intense. Like, but the fans that are there are giving in everything they do have to, to let their presence be known. So I think that's pretty awesome.
Absolutely. So my son Valentino is trying to chime in over here. If you hear noise,
so he's making his presence known.
Valentino the Bambino. So basically, totally agree. Like, it's awesome to go to the stadium and have all this freedom. I also noticed that like the beer seems a little bit colder. It seems more cold. The beer. I don't know why. And then on top of that, the food. The food is a little bit better too. I have no idea why. Maybe it's just more fresh and making less. Yeah. What'd you eat, by the way? I'm interested in knowing. What'd you eat?
I know. Usually, yeah. So I think I mentioned
you always
this before. Oh yeah, because ballpark foodie. You know, I'm into all of that kind of stuff. What did we go with that night? We went with the boneless buffalo wings.
Yeah.
Boneless buffalo wings with some with some fries. I mean, nothing too crazy, but no, we went well. Daniel went with the chicken tenders and fries.
Yeah.
We kept it even more basic. So nice. Mando just got back from his grooming session. He's going a little crazy over here. So you got Valentino, and I got Mando over here going nuts over here.
It was a crazy game, Ed. Perhaps you gave them luck. They desperately needed to win that night.
Mm-hmm.
There's no doubt about it that they desperately needed to win that night. It was ridiculous how they got the win with the wild pitch and not actually really showing any offense. But a win is a win in Major League Baseball, as we know, and that's it. So it's a W. It got them going. It looked like we were going to turn the corner, but I'll hand it over to you because I don't know. The feeling is like we're still in that place like we were last week when we were talking on the show. I still feel the same exact way. But let's continue. Go ahead. Take it over, Ed.
Yeah, well, unfortunately, Yanks did drop the next game 4-1, and it's honestly not a game to really talk too much about. You can even tell if you're watching by checking out the bottom line. Frazier drove in his first RBI of the season, going 1 for 3 later in the game. Yeah, exactly. Actually, the interesting part though is that Corey Kluber did go 4 2/3 with 2 hits, 2 earned runs, 4 walks, which is the problem, and 2 Ks. But you see the common theme though. Outside of really, one main guy, they got to get more length out of these starters, man. You're gonna kill the bullpen by the All-Star break. Like literally, they might die.
Paul Quantrill style, Scott Proctor, the proctologist style. Those guys were used ridiculous amounts, and yeah, it's 100% true. I don't know how the Yankees are going to sustain this starting rotation, going 4 innings, sometimes 2 innings. It's going to be a problem, and there's big question marks. That was a boring game. That 4-1 game was a real big letdown. There's no doubt about that. So it's tough. It's tough right now because the pitching is a question mark, and obviously when you got the Braves beating you 4-1, you win the night before, and there's no offense really. Kind of a luck win. You stole that win. It's like, oh man, this is rough, and you got guys swinging out of their shoes, looking for home runs all the time. I don't want to say it right now. I'm obviously a big Yankee fan, but you got to be honest. And right now, it's not looking like the team is using their baseball IQ at the moment. And there's evidence every single night on that they're not using their baseball IQ. So we'll get into more and more, but there are some moments where, I mean, the guy just walked in front of you. We're down, let's say 3-1, 2-1. Take a pitch late in the game, and you're swinging for a home run to take the lead. So call it pressing, call it whatever you want. It's also not smart as well. So,
no, I definitely think they're pressing, honestly, and because you can see a lot of guys like that. Like Judge normally does not expand the strike zone at all. He's usually pretty good with that, unless he's getting screwed on that low strike for some insane reason. Umpires seem to get fooled by his height. But I think their whole approach is they're taking a lot of hittable fastballs early on in the count. And I kind of think you might want to, I know there's the idea of working the count, but if they are attacking you pretty aggressively, you might want to occasionally start taking some cuts at these things and jump ahead of them.
See, that's where we differ. So I disagree. It depends on the score. It depends on the game. It depends on all that. But I think you should be confident enough as a hitter, as a pro, to be able to feel comfortable with 2 strikes and to get the job done. We have a problem, possibly. I don't want to go out on a limb and say it, but we have a possible problem with this team that we thought was a great hitting team might just be a team with a lot of power, and pitchers know how to shut down that power. Everybody has their weakness, so if the pitching's good enough, they're gonna pitch into your blue zone instead of your red zone, right? and you're gonna basically bat 230, 250, which is what we're getting used to with the Yankees. With, unfortunately, the big boppers like Sanchez and Stanton and even Gleyber Torres, where it just seems like they don't get the hitting mentality. They got the power down. They got a beautiful swing. They hit the ball 490 feet, but the hitting, the art of it isn't there, right? You look up and down the lineup, there's probably one guy that has it, and then of course the Ultimate Warrior, Gio. So that's it right now. That's it. That's all you got is hitters, real true hitters. So
all right.
Yeah.
Well, then let's move on to some hitting then, because the Yanks went ahead and moved on to Cleveland. The series against the Braves was only a 2-game set.
Yeah.
You professed last episode your favorite player is Kyle Higashioka. That's your guy. That's your Daniel. Yeah, that's your Daniel Bryan guy. So
that's my Daniel Bryan guy. Yeah.
Yeah. So the Yanks went ahead and erased a 3-0 early deficit to come back and win 6-3. Gleyber Torres had a 3-hit game, looking a lot better, making that 2-strike approach, cutting down the swing, which was nice to see.
Of course.
That's my point. Is that's usually what one of his best assets is to make the adjustment. You can swing at his shoes early.
His best
asset.
Oh, asset.
Yeah, stop thinking about Gleyber's ass, dude.
Check this out. Speaking of that,
we're not.
Yo, look at this.
Okay. Good for you.
What do you think about that? What do you think about that?
Is that from a cologne ad?
I don't know what it's from, but this is what he's doing in the off season. Okay.
Okay. All right.
So anyway.
That's good.
We're talking about asses or assets. I don't know. So there you go.
Well, Kyle Higashioka was 2 for 4 with a home run, his third of the season. Rougned Odor had that bases loaded single up the middle to go ahead and give the Yanks the lead, which was huge. And again, making adjustments going up the middle. He's typically a guy, lefty pull hitter who swings out of his shoes. So seeing Gleyber and Odor make those adjustments was something to head in the right direction. Domingo Germán did give them 6 innings, so another starter actually going a decent length.
Amazing.
Scattered 7 hits, 2 earned runs,
amazing.
6 Ks. Chapman came in and struck out the side to shut it down in the 9th inning, which he has been. I know we talked about it a little bit last week. Chapman's been phenomenal. I know we talked about the new splitter to go along with the slider and his around 100-mile-an-hour fastball. He looks untouchable this season.
Yeah, it makes you upset because when he was first time with the Yankees, you and I called it right away. If he's not going to throw 103 and he's going to be in the high 90s and break 100 every now and then, it's pretty predictable. That slider was for a pro pathetic, and it cost us. It cost us some games in big spots in the last few years. So it makes you frustrated as a fan because you and I, and yes, we have great baseball minds and IQs, and they are off the charts. And I sometimes my head hurts from it because it's very, very, very strong. It's very strong. So if we can do it from home or whatever at the bar at a happy hour, how come the Yankees didn't see that? How come the Yankees didn't have him work on a splitter, a slider that was a different grip? Obviously, the conditioning was there and the fastball is usually there, but it's very frustrating to see how great he is, and he's completely unhittable. Right now, Chapman has to be a top 3, if not top 2 closer in the game, hands down. And, we're happy that he did it finally, but it could have been done a little bit earlier for sure.
All right. Well, we'll see going forward. But, I mean, I'm glad he did make the adjustment as his career furthers on. And he's identifying some of the issues. He knows he can't just blow everyone away with 103-mile-an-hour fastballs anymore. So you got to get the guys off the fastball, which is exactly what they're doing. Yeah. Early on in this game, though, they were pretty sloppy with the defense. I mean, the Yanks were pretty bad, and Germán actually made an error of his own, not helping himself out. But it was something where you were kind of glad to see them fight back, though, because when it was 3-0, there's thoughts of like, all right, here we go again, the same bullshit over and over. But they did fight back, and they looked pretty damn good doing it. And I think it definitely carried over, for the rest of the series, because the next night, they went ahead and beat the TWIB again by a score of 5-3. And this was a game where Giancarlo Stanton hit 2 mammoth home runs. I mean, really, really powerful home runs to show you kind of a glimpse of like, this is the guy we need you to be. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is the guy who won the NL MVP, you know, in 2017 is the guy that we were trading for and making that move for.
Yeah, he had 59 home runs that year, right? He had 59 home runs that year.
He did. It was a career high, yeah.
Yeah. How many home runs has he hit since? I'm just interested. I think it's less. I think in 2018,
probably let's look it up.
2018, 19, 20, and 21. I'll give you all those years. I bet you he's hit less home runs in that entire year.
Than 59? Well, he had 36, 38 in 2018.
38.
Yeah, 38.
Then,
so, I don't know.
Hasn't been much since then.
No, he hasn't. He's been hurt a lot.
All right, I'm just asking. I just hope that he.
I know you weren't sure. Yeah, I know you weren't sure. So I'm glad you did ask.
Where might it be?
But Hicks also homered, another guy who's gotten a lot of fire from fans. Did drop out of the 3-hole, which is something we've all wanted and advocating for.
I was like, I did my own home run call when he hit one. I said, Hicks, not a prick. Oh, he finally got one out there.
Wow.
Welcome back to the game, Mr. Hicks. I mean, really. After a while, it was going to be hits, likes, but I didn't know.
So Rougned Odor also homered too, and he's Woody. So by the way, we're talking about his bat flip and everything like that. He does have a pretty, if you want to say demonstrative drop of the bat.
Awesome.
But it goes. I think it's awesome. Goes in with the let him play philosophy, right? Like,
yeah,
why not?
He's such a small guy, generates a lot of power, and looks legitimate. I mean, the balls that he hit so far with the Yankees are like total shots. His swing is really beautiful when he gets into one. So it looks like it's mechanical. It's great. It's sustainable. Again, a big question mark with the average, the lifetime average and everything, but we'll see. He's batting cleanup sometimes. So hopefully it continues.
I think that speaks more of the team right now, because you could say a lot of, we'll get into Boone and Cashman a little bit, but you can't say they're not trying different things. They're trying to shake things up. It's kind of hard to shake things up when virtually no one's hitting. Right. So you can move people around, but I mean, where are you really moving who to where? So
exactly.
I do like to see that there is an attempt to try to kickstart things and do what you got to do. But there was a moment here when Jordan Montgomery, who clearly didn't really have a lot in this game, but he was taken out with 2 outs in the 5th inning. Do you think it was kind of like would you have let him go and try to get that win?
Yes. In every case, I will say.
And there were 2 on at the time as well.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Pretty much like 90% of the time, I'm going to go with the starting pitcher. There's something to be said about you started the game. It's your game. You got the rock. You are literally 1 out away from a complete game, from a quality start, right? And you're already in line for the win. But when you're going to end an inning, knowing that this is most definitely my last inning, and it's 1 out more, just give him the rock. I mean, that's it. That's his game. Let him complete it on his terms, meaning obviously getting the quality start and ending that inning. It's a really big badge of honor for pitchers to get to that spot where I did my job. I got the team into the 7th inning. These days, that's what's being asked. That's above and beyond. Getting the team into the 7th inning, you're in the game, you're winning. That's a big deal in pitching right now. So, yeah, I think they should have let him pitch. No doubt about it. And another thing is, we talk about this a lot, Eddie. The bullpen is used very often, especially with the Yankees. Yeah. You know what you got with Jordan Montgomery. You know that he showed up for the game for his game. This is what he's going to do and he's been looking forward to it. That's a big deal. And you don't know what the guy in the bullpen, these are young guys. And I'm not going to speculate or anything, but these are young guys. They're doing their own thing. You don't know exactly what happened the night before in that guy that you're bringing in. I'm not saying that he went out and partied or anything, but you don't know if he has like a little, something. He's not going to tell you. You know what you got in your starting pitcher. And he's a starting pitcher because he's most likely better than a bullpen guy. So just let them pitch.
Let them play, let them pitch.
Let them play, let them pitch. Let the starting pitcher pitch and forget about your stupid journey into the game, going through choppy waters, and I got it lined up with this righty and that righty. The sabermetrics things has gotten out of control, as we talked about. That's a part of it. They're taking the ball out of pitchers way too early.
Yeah, no, I think a lot too. I just think this game was kind of interesting though, because Montgomery early on in the first 2 innings, he looked like he had absolute shit. But then he did settle down, and maybe
he
it's
looked
like
good.
No, he started settling down. It was just an interesting point though, because there were 2 on. He wasn't at his 100 pitches, so you can't even say that was it. So it's something that could have went either way. But Boone did go to Lucas Luque, who came in. He's looked really good, by the way.
Yeah.
He's looked good. He came in.
Luque.
He got credit for the win. Chapman shut it down again for his 4th save of the season. But let's move on to what was, I think we're going to easily agree.
1 second, Ed, on that last point, if I may. Another thing that it does for a pitcher like Montgomery who's come back from injury, and also young pitchers that we have like Domingo and Davey and all, like that builds character. When they get out of a jam and it's their game and they got it done and they keep doing it throughout the year, that builds character. And that's the kind of pitchers that you want in the playoffs. They know they can do it. And some of these guys, they don't know if that they're major leaguers or bona fide big spot guys in the playoffs. You got to build that. So this whole running to the bullpen is a little bit of a bitch move, in my opinion. So that's my opinion on that. It's biatch.
Well, though, Montgomery did show having a brass set against the Rays last year in the division series. I mean, he did. Backs were against the wall, good. And he did deliver when a lot of people were really doubting him.
Yeah,
really doubting him. So, but I agree with what you're saying, though. Young pitchers would want to see that. We would have liked to have seen Devry Garcia get that chance in Game 2 against the Rays, but we're not gonna go back into that again.
Every time you go on social media now, it's all about these posts and everything like, oh, it's when you fell is when you learn the greatest lessons. Everything's always so like, you have to fail in order to reach the heights. So let's listen to that. It's true. Every single person that's successful always says, I'm successful because I failed. So
that's what MJ says.
Let them give up the 3-run homer in April, and then we move on. And then someone kick his ass in the locker room, and then he doesn't give up the 3-run homer next time because he wants his ass kicked by his teammate, and that's it.
That's an interesting approach.
That's the way the game is. Just saying.
So let's move on though to Saturday night's game, which was that was marquee matchup. Garrett Cole versus Shane Bieber. Must see. That was 2-1. Not too much to get into from the offensive perspective. We'll focus on the pitching part. But Hicks did hit his 3rd homer, and Odor homered again for his 3rd. It's almost like they were keeping up, and they were shots too. There were some shots that both were hit. But Garrett Cole, man, he goes to 3-1. He goes 7 innings. That's pretty much what aces do. 3 hits, 11 strikeouts in 7 innings, though no walks.
Amazing.
Pretty damn impressive, man. He has been awesome. He's been the money. He has been the balls since the Yanks got him, man. He really has been. Yeah,
he's the man. He's the man with the plan, like Matsui.
Oh,
There's no doubt about it.
Wow,
Garrett Cole is our bona fide ace. It's so difficult to find a pitcher like that these days in Major League Baseball, but we're lucky we have him. He's compensated well for it. That contract is bananas. It's a crazy contract.
Well, he's earning it.
That's the going rate. We talked about the other pitchers too that got signed recently, and they're eclipsing into that area as well. So Garrett Cole is the man with the plan.
An interesting thing too there was with Chapman and Green unavailable because early in the season, not wanting to go to them 3 games in a row. Jonathan Loaizaga, good old Johnny Lasagna, got his first save, came in the 8th inning to get the last out and stayed in for the 9th. Looked pretty good, I got to admit. He was kind of on the list of being the guy.
Yeah.
And
he showed last
year, no, he's off the list. There's a new guy. There's a new guy now who we're going to get into in the next game. No. Okay. Yes. For those who aren't aware, a lot of fans, we all know we have a guy. There's that guy on the team that we absolutely cannot stand.
When they get called in the bullpen, when they come up to the plate, when they run out of the dugout because they're filling in for someone in the outfield, it ruins your day.
It absolutely does. And if he's a position player, it really ruins your day because then you got to watch him play the entire game. And you're like, Jesus, why is he out there? Like Tony Womack, Rondell White.
White.
Guys like that.
Paul Gibson.
Yeah, that would be something. That
For
really
you, Kevin Moss. Kevin
Moss is the ultimate guy.
Yeah. Understood. Absolutely.
Faraci, I absolutely agree with you. I'm going. I have 8 tickets to the 9/11 game in Citi Field with my cousins. I would love to. That would be perfect if somehow DeGrom and Cole lined up for that game. During that series in general, I would like to see those two face each other.
They have to make it happen on 3 days rest. I don't care.
That's it. It doesn't matter. You pitched yesterday. Whatever. Who cares?
Yeah.
No, that would be a phenomenal matchup, dude. They're like the two best pitchers in baseball right now.
DeGrom's
doing insane things right now.
0.36 ERA, and it looks like he's not even playing baseball. He's playing another game that no one ever really practiced. That's what it looks like. He's on a different level. It's unbelievable what he's become. He's always been, a standout, but this is becoming ridiculous at this point. It's an automatic, ridiculous start. So that would be incredible. That's must-see TV, just like Cole Bieber. Justin Bieber's a good singer too, so it's good stuff.
I was actually at DeGrom's debut against the Yankees in Citi Field. He started against Chad Green.
Wow. What'd you eat that game? No, I mean, what happened that game?
I don't know. Who the hell knows? The Yanks won, though. Yanks did win that game.
You don't remember? I'm shocked that you don't remember. I'm very disappointed.
I don't remember what I ate
I'm
that
disappointed.
game.
No, I don't remember that you don't remember what happened.
No, I mean, I do remember that DeGrom start and Green was going in. They started against each other. I think the Yanks ended up smacking around in the bullpen or something like that. But,
oh, really? Okay.
No, I'm not going to remember exactly, but it's funny though. If we do get that Cole DeGrom matchup, it'll probably be a 7-6 win for one of the teams, and that it'll just not live up to the hype. Actually, with those two, I think it would. It really does live up to the hype like it did on Saturday night with Bieber and Cole.
Yeah. As long as it's no weird weather or anything crazy, there's a rain delay and you got to take him out in the fourth or something. Then I think it'll live up to the billing for sure, and everybody's healthy. Absolutely.
Yeah, so let's go on and actually announce who the new guy is for me, at least this season.
Yes.
Cleveland did go ahead and won 7-3 on Sunday. So
horrible game.
Out of these 4 games, the team that took a 3-0 lead actually lost the game.
Yeah.
Yanks did it to them twice. The 2-1 game obviously didn't happen. Yanks took a 3-0 lead early. They looked like they were going to be well on their way. But then Tyone was looking good, and all of a sudden kind of ran into a wall in the 4th inning.
Yeah. That's weird about baseball. I don't mean to get weird and spiritual,
sure.
But it makes you think that's why baseball players are so superstitious, because stuff like that happens a lot in baseball. That stat you just put out there, the 3-0 thing.
Yes.
And now, if it happens again when they play each other, you're damn that next game is going to be please no, the 3-0 thing is going to happen. That happens a lot in baseball. So that's why guys don't change their underwear sometimes. They eat fried chicken before the game, and every game they shave their head. They do things like that. Baseball is a very weird spiritual kind of game where it feels like you're not only against the team, but you're also you have to make sure whatever's out there in the universe isn't touching you or feeling you, or it's crazy in that way. So it is such a weird stat, right? How does that happen? What are the odds on that?
Series,
right.
Out of a 4-game series, 3 of the games would be a team, whoever was leading 3-0 would blow that. That's just
4 games.
It is. Well, I'm saying 4-game set, but the Saturday game it didn't happen. It goes 2-1.
Right.
But Nick Nelson is the guy. I can't. No, I'm done with him, dude.
Double N?
No, yeah, he's the new Scott Proctor.
Wow, that was quick, Eddie. It's April. I mean,
no. This started to happen last year because Boone is showing a lot of faith in this dude for reasons completely unknown. I know he came in after they were down 4-3, but still a winnable game right there. And this clown comes in a couple of weeks ago, Friday night game against Tampa. He's the opener for some bizarre reason for Michael King. Gives up 2 runs there. I want to backhand. I can't stand his face either.
Wow. Well, you know my guy.
Officially.
You know my guy.
Hicks.
Yeah. No. Hicks is not my guy.
Hicks is not the guy. Who's your guy?
No. It
was Sessa for me.
Until further notice, it's Giancarlo Stanton. Until further notice.
The guy. Really, the guy.
He's the guy. He's the guy.
That is incredible.
He's the guy.
That's a bit extreme.
I'll tell you why he's the guy. Because I actually want to vomit when I watch him, when the whole stadium and the whole world knows, right, that he's going to get an outside breaking ball in this count. And he doesn't know. And he swings as if he's never played baseball in his life. It makes me want to vomit. And it's not that I'm against him. It's just, sometimes this doesn't look like a Major League Baseball player. And I do believe that he has this testicular fortitude issue.
Wow.
And that upsets me because we're stuck with him for a very long time, which I pointed out in the last show, how much money we're committed to and how many years we're committed to.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's a really, really poor contract. So he is the guy for reasons that might not be 100% his fault. The pictures like I showed you, things like this, he's the guy. He's the guy. And on that note, by the way, let them play is important, but just know that when you start boasting and when you start taking pictures like that and you start doing things like that and actually, feeling yourself, usually you go down. And that's why I think Mike Trout, who doesn't want the limelight, doesn't want anything, just wants to play ball, he's not going to experience that. So Tatis better be very careful, because if he starts going to the limelight, the chinkas champagne, they don't last, Eddie. They don't last. Look at Don Mattingly, and I know it was his back, but he took that studio card. Remember that baseball card? He took a studio card where he's like this. He's like this, and his hair is long, and he's all like looking like he's lounging and being cool. He never had a good year after that, Don Mattingly. And we're the biggest Don Mattingly fans, and he took that studio baseball card. He was full of himself for that one moment, and then that happened. Just like that. So it's a little extreme. It's a little extreme, but I'm telling you, baseball's spiritual. So if you start doing things like this, just know you get bam, like smack, pow.
Wow, biff, bam,
yes.
pow.
Yes.
Right. No, we're crossing over. We're crossing over. That show's on Friday night. We're not going down to the comic book. So let's get into last night's game though, which there's a really, really big topic to talk about. So Yanks go ahead and move on to Baltimore, a team that's pretty much been their bitches last couple of seasons. The Yanks go ahead and drop that one 4-2. The big story though out of this game, number one, Deivi Garcia, was nice to see him get his first start of the year. I know they're going to mix in a sixth starter once in a while.
Poor Deivi.
Yeah, I know he seems to get the shit end of the stick with a lot of these things. But they did have him on a pitch count. He went his 4 innings, whatever.
Yeah.
I think he would be able to give them more, though, once he's stretched out, because at the alternate site, they're not really going 100 pitches just yet. So we'll see how that goes. I really do hope. I'm high in this kid, so I would like to see him get some more looks going on. But in the 8th inning, where Gio Urshela went ahead and rips a double down the line, it looks like 2 runs would have scored to cut the lead to 4-3.
Yeah.
And then a judge is called out, trying to go to third, and makes the Cardinals send of making the first or third out at third base. That's, usually immensely frowned upon, and it's like baseball 101. You don't do that. Bang, bang, play. He even admitted after the game he was perhaps trying to push it to make something happen. And again, I think that's something when the team's not going well, a lot of players will start trying to do things that they traditionally would not. But he's called out at third, and it's before DJ steps on the plate, and this was the call that was made on the field.
Right.
Now, so that pretty much negates the run, 4-2. Boone goes ahead. He's waiting for his video team to let him know, like, hey, listen, challenge or don't challenge. And then the umpires say, oh, you're done. That's it. And Boone's screaming at them like he was doing something like hand gesture and something like that. Yeah, time's up, because you only have 30 seconds to challenge a call.
And then Boone came out yelling like, I'm having fun. This is so much fun. It's amazing to have fun. And I was like, he was just, having fun.
Oh, yeah, because he did it. He did really just get in there. And the hot John Boy Media and them caught on the hot mics, pretty much saying, you didn't even fucking look at me. He was yelling that at them, pretty much saying the umpire, pulled the cord a little bit quick. So there's a lot to talk about, though, in this situation, right? So number one, Judge making the third out at third base, even though it did look like he could have been in there. Looks like the run should have scored on the replay. Number two, 30 seconds to challenge a call. Like, number one, why would the umpires look at that on their own without even a challenge? Because the umpires do have the discretion to say, you want to know something? We're not 100% sure on this one. Maybe we need to go take a look at the replay. And also, though, like the 30 seconds, I mean, we all know what the process is. You do have a team that you're not just there's not unlimited challenges, because you don't want that. The game would really go on for forever if you had that.
Yeah.
So or if you also could look at the situation and just say maybe Boone should have just challenged the damn thing, being that, hey, listen, we know the score of the game, we know what's going on here. The worst case scenario, we lose the challenge. and then what happened. Like the inning ends and that's it. We don't get to run. Do you think he should have just challenged it without waiting for his video team, regardless? That could be seen as kind of reckless, also.
All right. Yes. So we start with the obvious.
There's a lot.
We start with the obvious. So for Boone, I don't blame Boone because we've been watching baseball during this rule change with the challenges, and they give time. In fact, a lot of the time the umpires are just like, what's up? And then it's like, they kind of converse. So I don't really think that Michael Kay with his like face, the worried face all the time, and his like way about him, which I haven't really appreciated over the years. I don't believe that him making a big deal of it, like, what is a challenge? It's a challenge. It's not a nice challenge. I think that was bullshit because Aaron Boone, he just wanted to make sure he got everything right. There was a lot that happened in that play. Judge might be safe. The run has to score. I mean, it's not Boone's fault in that regard. Now, the fact that Boone was in that situation, that he had to worry about one of his star players making the last out at third base is ridiculous. There's no reason to run to third in that play, in left field, in Camden Yards. We're not the Polo Grounds here. That's a short throw by any standard. I would have thrown him out. You would have thrown him out easily. Ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous that he went to third. He admitted it. But what I find interesting about that moment is that it opened up what I thought my sources were right about saying, Eddie, and it's confirmed. No, it's not. Listen, my sources are always accurate, and Boone confirmed it, and I'm going to tell you why. And when we get more fancy, and we have assistants and interns, and we get picked up by a bigger radio station like WFAN, like bigger than FAN, like
UNBC.
Whatever, like maybe they pick us up, and like we do what we got to do to become trillionaires. We're going to have more opportunity to show this in a hologram. I want you to take a look at Aaron Judge's eyes when he talks about the state of the Yankees. And I'll give it to Erin Brockovich. She's engaged to one of our friends. We met her in Boston. So there is a close connection there. We have to admit that.
Brockovich?
Erin.
Meredith Brockovich.
Oh, sorry, God. Freaking Sazerac. Sorry, Meredith. Meredith, Erin, they look, she looks like an Erin. So the point is that Meredith, she asks great questions. I have to give it to her. And that's, I think, the reason why one of our friends are engaged to her. And the point, and it's a true story. 1,000% true. Is it true, Eddie? Is it true?
Well, I mean, yeah.
Were you there?
Technically, yes, I was there. I was at the bar.
Yes.
So, yes, a proposal was made. It was a challenge. It was accepted.
And she said yes. She said, I've been waiting for this my whole life. Yes. Thank you. So not one of my sources, by the way. But
no, not one of your sources at all.
But still close to us. Look at Aaron Judge's eyes. He talked, when he got a question from her that was a hard-nosed question about what's going on in the press scene, his eyes are going back and forth. That's a guilty guy right there. And I'm going to tell you what he used in his words. He used preparation, I don't know how many times. He used doing the work, I don't know how many times. It was a glimpse into what we all pretty much knew what's going on here. It's not an accident that the Yankees are in last place in the American League East. A lot of the guys, not Judge, but I think as a leader, he doesn't want to say it, but he was saying it. These guys, they're not putting in the work. The preparation is what's going to get you there so you can trust yourself, so you can trust your teammates. And it was very clear that Judge was very concerned about that. And unfortunately, he had to also defend him going to third and making that last out. But I know he's trying to make too much happen. But
he owned up to it, though. I can respect that.
But for me, it lent into, because of Meredith's great questioning, what's really going on here. And I don't think a lot of the guys had shown up prepared for the 162-game season, just like Glaber when he admitted that he came in chubby and out of shape last year, which is not forgivable. He did admit that. And then this year, he's like, I'm good now. Oh, thank you. Thank you for allowing us to watch you now that you're good now and that 2020 wasn't, important enough to be in shape. So thanks a lot there, Glaber. But it's a problem. And he's probably one of the guys that sometimes shows up not prepared and not putting in the work. So go back to that interview. When we get interns, we could just plug it in. We can listen to it. We can look at his eyes, and you'll know this is what's going on and why they're in last place.
So, by the way, there's not exactly a source, but there was someone who was at this bar in Boston with us. Steve Grogan is commenting and saying that he can confirm this engagement.
Yes, he can confirm it.
We have confirmation as well. So we have 3 people who can confirm this engagement.
It's a true story, and you know what? I should put her as part of my sources. It would probably be a very good source.
Yeah, I would say no. She does ask great questions and knows her shit. So absolutely.
Yeah.
All right. So why don't we go ahead and take a quick look at tonight's lineup before we move on to our quick discussion. We got LeMahieu leading off at first base.
Yep.
Nothing surprising there. Stanton is batting second as the DH. Judges in right field.
He can only DH.
Batting third. That's fine. Keep hitting 400, 60-foot home runs. I'm good with that.
Yeah.
Gio Urshela cleaning up, which listen, he's been one of their hottest hitters, so I guess that's the way we're going to go with it.
Oh yeah, the Ultimate Warrior, Gio.
We got Gleyber Torres batting 5th at shortstop. Aaron Hicks is in center field batting 6th. Clint Frazier batting 7th in left field. Kyle Higashioka getting a start at catcher. Then we got Rougned Odor rounding out the order at 9th, playing second base, and Kluber Lang on the hill tonight.
Corey.
Perhaps training in the basement for this one, maybe warming up in the dark parts of Camden Yards.
Yeah, I'm in the basement right now again. I'm in the basement on the 5th floor, so I'm doing really good. I have a lot of basements. Yeah, your basement, a lot of basements, and it's important because that helps you focus on the opponent and you become obsessed. Not taking pictures like what we talked about here, like the picture that you see here. We don't like those pictures, No,
we don't.
So the point is that I want to give not an Ultimate Warrior award, but a suspect Ultimate Warrior award. I have a problem that with another contract. It's with DJ. I don't know how I missed this. It's probably because 2020 was crazy. We signed them, and whatever happened. And DJ LeMahieu, I cannot believe I missed that. He only had 9 home runs in the minor leagues and over 1,000 at-bats. And in Major League Baseball, pros, the MLB, actually, as a pro, he only has 80-plus home runs, like 83 or 86 homers. He has a 2019 season where he has 26 home runs, is all-world, all-universe. He's on the list for Tic Tacs. That's all I got to say. DJ is on the list for Tic Tacs. Gio is eating the Tic Tacs. And there's a few other people, but I'm going to try to confirm with my sources more. But definitely DJ, there's a problem here. And we have him for how many years? And he's already in his 30s. 6 years. He's in his 30s. He's going to be probably 38, 39. And it might be a very, very rough Giancarlo Stanton, DJ LeMahieu team unless we do something about this because Tic Tacs might be going around.
Yeah, I'm going to just continue to say no. That's a really hard pass for me on that one.
Yeah, it's just incredible. He has single-digit home runs his entire career, and then 2019, right before 2020, 26 home runs.
I mean, he won a batting title also.
His lifetime average is
he won a batting title and also was a 4-time All-Star before he got to the Yankees. So it's not like this happened overnight. But players can get better. I do believe this.
Yeah, especially when they get older. Absolutely, yeah.
Because he's like 40. Yeah, okay.
He's had a long career. He's been in the league since 2000, I think 10, 11. So he got really better. Like it took him 9 years. It took them like 9 years to get better, but that's okay. Cool.
I think it was. I don't think it was as close as that. I think it actually happened a lot sooner.
Also, his face looks a little guilty sometimes. But anyway, that's no proof. That's not proof.
Well, that's just saying that you. What is it you said last episode? What didn't you want to do with him?
No, if you're in college and like DJ's on your team, like I don't know.
No, that's right. You didn't want to take a shower with DJ LeMahieu.
Yeah, I don't know. He has that face where it's like he takes things too seriously. So like I don't know if you whip him with like a towel or something, and like it being like one of the guys, he might like really get upset and like strangle you or something with the towel. Like he just seems a little. Yeah, he seems a little. He has that face where everybody's having a good time. And he's just like, you know how Billy Martin used to talk to himself in the corner of the dugout sometimes. He kind of has that feel to it. Intensity is good, but I don't know. Maybe the Tic Tacs are affecting his brain. Either way, he has to stop bouncing into double plays. Put it that way.
All right. So in 2015, DJ played 150 games and hit 301 with a 358 on base percentage. 2016, he followed that up by hitting 348 with a 416 on base percentage.
How many home runs did he hit that year?
Followed that up in 2017.
How many home runs did he hit that year?
Hold on.
How many
310 with a 374 on base percentage. So
how many home runs?
Pretty much had one off year, and then went ahead and then came to the Yanks hitting 327 with a 375 on base.
Talk
then
about
364,
dingleberry cherry picking. That is some dingleberry picking.
No,
tell me how many home runs he had all 3 years.
Hold on, let's see something. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. This is his 11th year, and let's see. He said 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. He's hit over those years. 5 of those years, he hit over 300.
What's his lifetime average, Eddie? 304, right?
304 with a 357.
Okay, and how many home runs did he have those 3 years that you were so strongly defending DJ? What's his home run total? 5?
No, 6
5 home runs for the whole year?
11.
6 and 11. What about the year before that? What about the year before that? Just tell me. Just tell me.
Oh, yeah. When he hit 5, yes.
No, 5, 6. All of a sudden, before his 2020 signing, he becomes all universe. It's just suspect. I'm just saying. I could be wrong.
I think
I might have been wrong once or twice. So this could be a third time.
I think it's just a little more. Just a little bit more often than that.
We'll see what happens. Let the contract ride out. If he never becomes Mr. 26 homer guy again, we might know why. That's all I'm saying.
So if he does it again this year, then you're good.
Then we have to see if it's not.
Then we got to see the Then we got to see the next year, and then if he does it again, then we got to see the next year.
Maybe it's goobers. Maybe it's I don't know. Maybe it's in his salad. I don't know.
Very, very traumatized since your boy A-Rod got caught, man. It has really changed your view of the game. It's very sad.
That guy
loved him.
Whatever his, I don't even know who that is.
Okay, let's move on. Okay, to today, by the way, 1947 was Babe Ruth Day. Yes. Celebrated all across baseball. Some of us even wore our Babe Ruth T-shirt.
Iconic.
To celebrate today. The GOAT.
Iconic. The GOAT. Iconic picture. Is that the iconic picture with him like holding the bat and then like from the bot like Ruth and then the stadium in the background? And they take that picture on that day.
Calling the shot.
Not calling the shot. You know that?
No, I'm talking about the shirt. My shirt is him calling the shot.
Oh, I got it. But is Babe Ruth in 47? Is Babe Ruth Day the day where he took that picture? Where it was like by chance, that picture with a facade in the background, and he looks kind of old, and that is one of the most classic pictures in baseball history, right there. So that was today, yeah. So happy Babe Ruth Day, it's everybody, indeed. And the Yanks are in Baltimore, birthplace of one George Herman Ruth. Amazing, yep.
There you go. There's those weird things that happen in the universe with baseball.
I think he had a big impact on the world, actually.
I would definitely say Babe Ruth still the GOAT, still a name that everyone knows. You just mentioned the name Babe Ruth, and people will go ahead and know it. Still to this day, it is.
He was so impactful that in World War II, supposedly our enemies were calling us Babe Ruths. They were saying we're going to kill the baby Ruths in basically 1945, 1944, because it ended. Obviously in Japan, but they were calling us Babe Ruths. That's how ridiculously impactful Babe Ruth was. So it's probably top 3, I'd say.
Oh, okay. Oh, okay. Yeah. For me, he's still the greatest of all time. When you have another player can hit over 700 home runs and win almost 100 games as a pitcher, then come see me.
Okay, well, come see me when your manager says, you give me a guy that bats 375, 75 home runs, and 175 RBIs, and I still take Willie Mays, then you come see me because I think he's number 1.
Okay, and that's fine. I mean, we're entitled to agree to disagree on that, but that's at least my criteria for the greatest baseball player of all time. He was way ahead of his time, and honestly, still to this day, fascinating to see what he's able to do.
I think he would also beat up Mike Stanton, Giancarlo Stanton in a fight.
Wow. Okay, that's all right. Now we're getting into that. All right, so let's get on to the final segment of this episode. We wanted to take a quick look at Brian Cashman and Aaron Boone and the jobs that they've done, because with the slow start by the Yanks, a lot of fans have come ahead and they've been under a lot of fire. You hear on Sports Talk Radio, fire Boone, fire Cashman, this and that. Cashman made this mess. Blah 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 blah. I don't understand like all that shit. So
I don't understand.
Let's just take a quick look at Aaron Boone and what he's done, at this point, because his resume is a lot shorter as a manager than Cashman. Obviously, Cashman's been with the organization for quite some time and been the GM. I think Boone's story is interesting though, because he was brought in after a lot of people got used to complain about Joe Girardi, Joey Binders, this and that. He's too married to the stats, blah blah blah, and then you get Aaron Boone. Because apparently we find out that maybe Joe Girardi wasn't as married to the numbers as a lot of people were accusing him of being. Not just saying you, Jerry. I'm just saying like fans in general, because we did hear it a lot.
What did I do? I didn't do anything.
You did. You absolutely did. But Boone takes over a team, in 2018 was his first season after Girardi took him to Game 7 of the ALCS. So he inherits his team, super talented, super young, expected to be essentially the next Yankees dynasty that is here. And it still could happen. We're not saying it's not going to happen. But Boone is brought in because he was, every baseball manager now, they want a great communicator. Someone who can talk to the players and blah, 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 but who's also willing to say, hey, you're buying into the stats. Like you're not ignoring the numbers. You're going to take what the analytics department and the Yale, Harvard geeks that every team has now, and they're handing you these numbers, and you're going to take them into consideration when you do your lineup, and you look at your pitching situation. Look at the ALDS last year against the Rays. That was not a Boone decision by himself. It was a collaborative decision, as they like to say, to start Derry Garcia.
Collaboration is key. It's like trust is live. Go ahead.
Like Derry Garcia goes at it, and who's a legitimate starting pitcher, but he goes at it and uses an opener, and they bring in J Happ, which they didn't like to begin with, and he gets smacked around. So that's something that a lot of
such a wuss.
He was actually throwing a no-hitter.
I know.
Into the game last Saturday.
Yeah.
For his
it's what's beautiful about baseball, that such a pussyfooter could still do good, but don't ever bet on that guy.
No.
God, that face was just like, it's like he could be winning 10-0 and losing 10-0, and he still has the same get away from me. Anyway, go ahead. Yeah. So I got a name. I got a name for Mr. Boone. But go ahead.
It is really hard to assess though a manager in baseball right now, because if they're also being asked to take into consideration a ton of numbers that they're being handed to them by the front office, then how do you really know what he's doing? I know he controls the bullpen and things like that, and he's making moves. We get that. Managers still do that. As far as lineups go and what days they sit and his planned rest days, it's really hard for me to assess Aaron Boone to say look at it. 2018, they won over 100 games. 2019, they won over 100 games again. 2020, obviously, they're taking a step back, but 60 weird game season. So, and then we got off to the start that we have right now.
Yeah.
But look at 2018 and 2019, though. The Yanks also hit with an insane amount of injuries and still won over 100 games. So if you're going to knock Boone on one hand, for maybe being too married to the numbers, there has to be something said to get the most out of these guys, like Mike Talkmans of the world, an aging Brett Gardner, Clint Frazier at times, Gio Urshela, who was, a guy who we had got from nowhere, Luke Voigt, things of that nature. I don't know. There's people walking around by you. Maybe it's your sources. But I think it's hard to assess him, but I kind of got to give him a passing grade on this, though, because that alone right there, dealing with that many injuries and still winning over 100 games for 2 seasons, you can't sneeze at that. You can't, kill him for one thing and then all of a sudden, just pretend that didn't happen.
Yeah. I differ. May I differ?
No, of course. You can differ. You can agree. You can do whatever hell you want to do.
I'm going to differ.
Okay.
So, first off, thank goodness that we don't have old school managers right now, because these sabermetric and all this, there's something to be said about it, of course. But I think some of the old time managers would beat the shit out of them, to be honest with you. With their look at this data, and I'm like, wham, right in their face. And it's like, yo, man, you hurt my feelings. Meanwhile, he broke his jaw, right? So that's number one. It's a little bit annoying because I know exit velo is important. It's tied to getting hits. But if your exit velo is, if you're only doing it once every 40 at-bats, it's not really relevant. I mean, it really isn't. And everybody's all like, oh, exit velo is amazing. And like, get him now. Pay him $40 million. So there's an issue with the gut feeling that you have to trust your gut with the sabermetrics. So in the middle, I think Boone, unfortunately, is in a tough spot like Girardi was, where we're very, very data-driven, and it's like you're basically becoming a robot. So it's like Aaron Bonomics or something, or Aaron Robotic. It's just he's a robot, and he's kind of expected to do certain things. I don't know how he deals with the press. It's ridiculous. Ridiculous. Every single night, he's got to answer questions about, why don't you put this guy in? And we're going to be lined up for this. And you're just waiting for him to say, like, get off me. Like, I know my guys. This guy went home with the wrong person last night. I couldn't bring him in. F you, F him, F her. I have a team. I'm the man. Let me make my decisions. I know karate.
Wow.
That's what
I thought you were going somewhere else. Thank you for not going there.
Yes. So he should say it. Like, I'm the guy. I'm the manager. I want to manage a team. And yes, I believe in sabermetrics, but I also believe is that I'm intimate with my team in the way that we discuss things. So stop asking stupid questions. And that's it. Like, if he decided not to take out Montgomery and go to the bullpen, that's my decision. Okay, next question. It was just my decision. Next question. Why? Because I felt like it. I'm the manager. That's it. So I don't like the robotic portion of what is expected from a lot of managers right now. And I think often than not, we'll never know the flip side, right? Because, he didn't get the out or he got the out, but now it's too late to know what would really happen because we don't live in alternate realities.
Yeah.
So that's that. But I think Boone overall has done a great job during those years. I think every single year is different. And right now, I think this year, maybe he trusted those guys that won those 100+ games, and they showed up a little bit lackluster this year. And that falls not only on the players, but definitely on the manager and the general manager as well, because they collaborate so much that some of these guys are clearly not prepared to play baseball. They're not even catching up to fastballs that are right down the middle, Eddie. They're balls that are very hittable that the rest of the league are hitting, but the Yankees aren't. And that's not by accident. They're not. A lot of the guys are not prepared. I don't know exactly how many, but it's clear when you watch a game in the ebb and flow, these guys are not prepared for a 162-game season. So put in the work, put in the preparation, like Judge had said, and let's get started, because it's going to be a long year if it doesn't. Because that lineup that you showed, Eddie, it doesn't look so great when you start really diving into the real DJ. Is Glaber that great? Is Sanchez going to come back? Is Stanton going to stay healthy? Is Judge going to stay healthy? Is Odor going to be a cleanup guy for the rest of the year? Is Frazier really not someone who's a major leaguer? Now we're getting scared, right? Like, what are we going to do? So it's exciting, though, because you're going to root for them, and you hope that they are who we thought they are. Right?
Wow, Denny Green.
And we don't want to let them off the hook.
No, that's absolutely. We got a question here. Let's dive into quick from Grogan. Where are you guys at with the people who say it's too early to get crazy over losses when the season is so long? I think we talked about it. Yeah, we talked about it already. I mean, it is.
We differed, Daddy.
Yeah, we did. It's the thing is, yes, it's a fact. It's 162 games this year. It is too early, but the fact when you're not playing defense and you're not pitching and you're not hitting and it looks this ugly, the losses, is when you really start getting irked. I think if they were playing solid baseball and they were getting edged out here and there, then you're kind of like, all right, the law of averages will correct itself automatically, but it's just kind of like, got to start playing consistent baseball better.
Here's my answer.
Start cleaning up the defense. Start letting the starters go deeper into games, and start tearing the cover off the ball the way we know that this team is capable of.
Absolutely. Grogan, here's the thing. So here's the thing. Every game matters. Every single game matters. When people say it's early, those are managers and actual teams that are putting out statements that are saying that not to get everybody heat on them and the team early in April and May because nobody wants that. But the facts is it all matters. Every game matters. Every inning matters. It is a grind, and it doesn't matter if it's April or September because you are going to kick yourself real hard in the ass when you're trying to get that playoff spot and you're 2 games down with 5 games left, and you basically, rub the lot out in April because, it didn't matter. It all matters, and all the managers know it, and they just don't say it. So that's all BS. Don't fall for it. It's the same thing like fighters. Like don't do the nasty while you're training. That's all BS. It's just to control a fighter. That doesn't take away your performance. That's BS. Same thing with baseball. That's a myth.
You're trying to say women don't weaken knees.
No, absolutely not. Imagine being a fighter and being happy, going into the ring happy and like, yeah, I got my game plan down. I'm ready. Had a good night last night, and then you just beat the crap out of the guy. That's what it is. So that's just a myth to control a fighter when you're a trainer. It's the same thing that these teams say to control the fans. Don't worry. We're in last place. Please keep watching. Please, we need money. We want to sign the next guy for $35 million a year. Whatever the case is, they know every single game is crucial. So tonight's crucial. That starts in about a half hour. It is war every single night. And unless this team is ready for war and they're ready to go with their heads on fire and start beating the crap out of teams, we're going to have a long season. But we still believe in the Yankees, Eddie. I'm still there with you.
Yeah, no, we're still there. And honestly, the stretch of games that they're going through right now, you do have Baltimore for a couple more days. This is a team you need to start beating the crap out of like you normally do and you're capable of.
Oh, yeah.
And then you have the Tigers coming into the stadium this weekend, which is another team that you need to start. These are the get right games. So hopefully by the next time that we do our show next week, that we're talking about a team that is heated,
500,
that's hot, that's got to the 500 mark or maybe even over, depending on which day we do land on coming back for next time. But let's talk about Brian Cashman now.
Cashman.
So Brian Cashman was an intern with the Yanks for quite some. I mean, he's been with the Yankees forever. Pretty
Great
much.
Story.
Yeah, no, it is a really incredible story. But he took over after Bob Watson in the mid '90s, and did help. Though I know, right? It's crazy to think about. Like it's been going on for that long. So he did inherit a pretty damn good roster, but also made a lot of moves in that dynasty that kind of get overlooked a lot. I mean, he did trade for Scott Brocious. That did happen. All right. He did trade for Chuck Knobloch. I mean,
Brocious is ferocious.
Brocious, a guy off the scrap heap that nobody believed in, and it was just a light hitting defensive third baseman. Kind of reminds me of Gio Urshela a little bit. And
don't even compare.
Solid comparison. Both light hitting third basemen.
You're trying to compare. Like, I would say that's like a comparison. Like, let's say like Paul Orndorff, legitimate guy, and like the blue meanie from ECW or something.
That's insane.
No, Gio Urshela is not a bona fide Major League Baseball player. I don't care if he hits 30 home runs this year. He is Tic Tac City. I don't want to be part of that city.
Scott Brocious, no, though. Scott Brocious,
no way.
No. Okay.
No, you know why? Because trust your eyes. And also, he had good seasons before. He was just in the latter in his career. And he had a packed lineup with a ton of protection. And the guy had no change in any of the approaches or anything.
Going into a packed lineup.
Don't tell me that Gio Urshela discovered launch angle with 98-mile-per-hour fastballs going at him, and he couldn't figure it out in the minor leagues, but he figures it out in the major leagues. It's absurd. But anyway, hoping for the best with Mr. Gio. Go ahead. Excellent or Mr. Warrior.
Excellent comparisons with Scott Brocious and Gio Urshela there, because there's a lot of similarities there. But there are moves like that, making the trade for Roger Clemens, for David Wells as well. Also getting Wells the first time. Yes, no. Obviously, Roger Clemens, that's 100% the case.
He has an eye in the middle now. Did you ever see the picture? Yeah, the new picture out. He has an eye.
No, I'm going through notable Cashman moves over the years.
Yes.
Getting David Justice also was a pretty big move.
Yeah.
As well to continue the dynasty and reloading every season. Going throughout the 2000s, that's kind of when George was more pressing on and saying, let's go ahead and start signing the big names again. Very kind of like 80s like, but the team kept on making the playoffs and winning. Signing Jason Giambi, letting Tino walk. That was another situation. But again, that's when George started getting more involved again. because pre-George, suspension,
Right.
he goes ahead and it was about the big names. It was, on Seinfeld, they made the joke about Ken Phelps and everything. And we can get into that a whole nother time. But then after the suspension, Gene Michael rebuilt the farm system, rebuilt the team into the 90s dynasty. But Cashman also made a lot of moves to solidify that. Kept him on top, blah, blah, blah. Many years later, great. Also, Mike Mussina, by the way, excellent signing by Cashman as well in 2001.
I hear you.
Then, though, as time with Johnny Damon, another signing that was there in 2006, that was as well. Randy Johnson got him a little bit later in his career, a couple of years too late. But that's another move though that George demanded.
The Goon, go ahead, yeah.
But George demanded. We can go through that.
We can go through all of it.
But what I want to do is focus. Yeah. I want to focus on the current roster though, because again, there's I'm just bringing up some moves that are there. So again, you look at third base, picking up Gio Urshela, off the scrap heap, finding someone there, excellent pickup there. Gleyber Torres, we got him from the Cubs in a trade for Aroldis Chapman.
Great.
In a season that was there. Then we ended up re-signing Aroldis Chapman and also got Gleyber Torres, signing DJ LeMahieu. When a lot of trading for Voit. We're giving up was it Giovanni Gallegos and Jason Shreve. I mean, we pretty much gave away a bag of balls and got back Luke Voit.
Oh yeah.
And whatever you want to say, we'll see how it turns out with Giancarlo Stanton. They gave up Starlin Castro, and not much else.
Well, obviously it was a salary dump. Everyone knows
it was a salary dump. But again, though, you still make the move. You call it
dump.
Then we can look at Aaron Hicks. Aaron Hicks, who's come under fire a lot, but they got Aaron Hicks though, who was a first-round draft pick, and they traded John Ryan Murphy for him.
All right. Yeah.
I mean, again, you're giving away leftover. You're getting away parts, and you're getting starting players.
I wonder why they were so willing to give them to us. That's it.
Well, Jerry, who would you take, Aaron Hicks or John Ryan Murphy?
I understand, but you could also get someone else too in center field. Okay, keep it going. Go ahead. I'm confident.
We can go ahead. I mean, signing Cole was obviously the right move. We can go back to the 2009 team and signing CC Sabathia, AJ Burnett, Mark Teixeira, Nick Swisher. Like those are things, but again, we're going to focus on the current roster though. So you look at the construction of the current team though.
Yeah.
A lot of really good Brian Cashman trades that were made to bring in these players and to give you the team that you have right now. And you gave away name me the prospect, name me the guy who he traded away that they got fleeced for. Now I will also say on the other hand though, Cashman has not been perfect. I can look at Kayagawa. We can get into Carl Pavano if we want to, get into that. Jacoby Ellsbury. I actually still like the Brian McCann move. I actually still like that one. And then you ended up flipping him when Gary Sanchez emerged. Smart move right there. And you got back Sessa, actually.
Yeah.
Justin Wilson, who's on the roster right now, by the way. You traded him away a couple of years ago and got back Chad. No, that's where they got Chad Green and Sessa. My bad. I misspoke there. So a lot of the current roster also getting Jonathan Loaizaga for a bag of balls as well. Another good move. You want to also look at a knock for the current team, letting Masahiro Tanaka walk, kind of coming back to bite them in the butt. So far.
In the butt. Worse in the butt. So far.
At least, we'll see how
vicinity, same vicinity, but on the other side.
I mean, focusing on the current roster, I mean, I also do think that Cashman has done, in my opinion, he has done a fantastic job because, as you said, there is no GM who's perfect. You can show me please show me the GM that was perfect, and
I will tell you. Yeah,
I'll show you. I'll show you 10 moves that he made that was also bad. Cashman's big thing seems to be in the trade market. When Brian Cashman calls you and is talking to you about a trade, you got to start getting a little bit concerned about, all right, what the hell does he know that that I don't know?
Right. Well, I'm gonna share this. I think his time, and again, I don't ever say like, oh, fire him, man. That's the worst. To say like fire the guy, like end his professional life and what he loves to do and just fire him is really rough. I don't like that. but I think there needs to be. He stays with the organization, but maybe could get a little bit more counsel somehow, or maybe step down and he's like assistant president. I don't know. I think it's time, and I'll tell you why. As a Yankee fan, we're in a tough spot, and we haven't won a World Series since 2009. The entire decade of no, that's a big deal, Eddie. That's a big deal. That's not something to make fun of. From 2010 to 2020, we didn't win one World Series. That's a big deal, and I'll tell you why it's a big deal. And you know this, of course. It's the only time it's ever happened that the Yankees didn't even make an appearance in a World Series. Even the 80s, we made an appearance in a World Series in 81. Mm-hmm. So it's a big problem. And I think the reason why is because you're so in love with having that star, with having the big boppers, with all of that. And the big contrast had kind of tied our hands for a long time in certain years. And that's the reason why we haven't appeared, forget about winning, appeared in a World Series. We're not putting in those 3, 4, and if we could find a 5-2 player throughout the entire lineup, it's ugly to watch some of these guys in big games strike out 3 times, pop up in big spots, because that's what they are. They're big power tic-tac guys, maybe. I don't know if they did the tic-tacs, but they might have. They probably have. So the point is that it's an issue, and that goes on the general manager, and it's a problem. And I think we're in that spot right now where we need to get a little bit more skill, which is why the whole baseball world is talking, like we started the show, everything goes full circle with the Padres, because it was so refreshing to see that brand of baseball, the speed, the opposite field hitting them where they ain't, inside fastball, 2-2 count, possibly a hit and run, and the pitcher knows what to do with that. And obviously, just really great sound baseball pitching. The Yankees are lacking a lot of this with the current roster, and we're still relying on the big boppers. And we know in the playoffs that's not going to give us the longevity that we want. So it might be time. I don't want to say fire the guy. That's wrong, but it might be time. It's a problem that they're not seeing. That's the most important thing right now. Is it's okay if your guy is batting 280 with 20 homers, 15 stolen bases. Get that guy. It's okay. Like, it's hard to find the guy that, I get it, but look for more guys with that potential. Don't fall in love with release the Kraken and all this stuff. And we're all hyped by the 450-foot shot home run. There's more to the game than that. It's obvious, but it seems like Cashman falls in love with that a lot. So, let's see what happens. But I don't want to be bored anymore either. We love the Yankees, and some of these games are really boring watching the strikeouts and the low IQ in the baseball realm there.
See, I would agree with you in a sense if it was only the Yankees, but it's not. That's where baseball is. Baseball has adopted analytics.
And the Yankees were always better than that. That's why the Yankees are the greatest franchise of all time.
But baseball has also gone ahead and
we're not followers.
Went ahead and fell in love with the true 3 outcomes, right? On either a home run, walk, or a strikeout. That's the basis of analytics, pretty much on offense.
It's stupid, and the teams that it's stupid.
But it's something. But Jerry, it is something though that is not. If it was just the Yankees, I would use it as a knock towards Cashman and Boone. But it's not. It is all of baseball. They've done it. It's the way professional sports is. You can look at the NBA. You can look at the NFL. You can look at the NHL. Once one team starts going ahead and can prove it's successful, there's always copycat leagues. That's just the way it goes.
They're idiots.
That's just the way. That's the way professional sports has worked. Pretty much almost since its invent.
All right, I mean, that's fine.
That's just the way it is.
That's fine. You can utilize. I'm not saying ignore it. Yes, you could obviously adjust and flex to that, but to go completely off the deep end and just be like a flock of sheep following is ridiculous. It's ridiculous. It's very rare that you get a Golden State Warrior team that's that amazing at shooting threes. It's difficult for that incredible struck of lightning hitting twice that you have that many players that can do that. The teams that win the World Series, like the Dodgers last year, are the teams that play the game the right way. Even the year before and the year before that, they don't have the 4 or 5 guys that are just big boppers and like big Frankenstein monsters, and they're going to win the World Series. It's just not going to happen. baseball isn't a sport like that. You got to be better than that. And the Yankees were always better at not being cheap, at being better than the rest of the league. So by adopting it and being a copycat, it's a problem. And that's why we haven't won since 2009. And as a Yankee fan, it's inexcusable. It really is.
And
that's the way I see it.
And that's fine, Jerry. I understand that we talked about this off air and stuff like that. I know that you see it like that.
Yeah.
I don't think it's as easy necessarily to you're not going to see a lot of teams that are going to be dynasties anymore in any professional sport. The economic structures have changed. You can't just go ahead and do that. We can't just I'm not saying they've done it forever, but listen, the Yankees also have outspent a lot of teams over the years. They've used their financial muscle over teams. And I'm not saying that I'm not getting into they bought World Series things, because you look at the 90s team, the core of that team, a majority of that team was homegrown players, and you supplement around them to complete the team. That's just the way they built the team. And that's a lot, honestly, though, that's a lot of the way that they built this team. Judge is a homegrown Yankee. Gio Urshela, if you want to look at that, he could be. Because, again, he didn't really get time anywhere else much. You want to look at Luke Voigt like that. Again, same way, barely played, got bust through with the Yankees. Sanchez, same type of thing. We still got Brett Gardner still going here for that. Gleyber Torres came up with the Yankees, even though, yes, we traded for him from the Cubs system. And they've supplemented by trading for, signing Garrett Cole, trading for Giancarlo Stanton, things like that. So I actually do think that the blueprint for this team is similar. Yes, the hitting approaches have changed and things like that, but that's just the way, again, that the game has gone. But I do want to drop in with something very quickly here, and then we want to thank Larry Frank. Thanks, dude, for checking us out. We appreciate that.
Thank you,
Mr.
The show. Frank.
And also, Larry Frank is dropping in here with a trade that just actually broke 2 minutes ago. The Yankees have announced a trade. Mike Tauchman is headed to the San Francisco Giants for a left-handed reliever, Wandy Peralta, and the player to be named later. The always player to be named later.
Yeah. Ends up being Mickey Mantle. No, I'm kidding.
I mean, listen, player, you know what you want to know? It's funny. Player, and then this can tie into our discussion right now. Player to be named later in the A-Rod trade. The Yankees gave them a list and said, here's 5 players, pick from one. Texas passed on Robinson Cano.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's a player to be named later. You never know who that could be. But
we all know about the Tic Tacs with Cano. So
point being,
Point
being, you never know who could be.
So it's Wandy Peralta.
Wandy Peralta. Well, I was going to pull up his.
Peralta.
I was going to pull up his numbers 2 seconds.
Yeah, wouldn't you love that? Wouldn't you love the Yankees nickname to be, oh my God, I love watching Yankee fundamentals. Like that is just, I would just tell my job, I'm working remote for the rest of the year. Why? Because I have to watch Yankee fundamentals and I can't be late for any game because I need to watch it.
It would be nice. That's what they need to execute.
Fundamentals.
Absolutely,
fundamentals.
Larry. Absolutely, Larry. That's what we want to say.
Throw, hit, run, field, hit for power, hit for average. I miss it. I miss it so much. But anyway, let me not digress.
Are you sure?
I don't want to digress.
Okay.
I will digress, actually.
You will digress. All right, so let's pull it up. Wandy Peralta, lefty reliever.
Yeah, I'm looking it up myself.
29 years old, career 4.72 ERA, and 220 games, record of 9-9, 158 strikeouts, and 192 2/3 innings pitched with a WHIP of 149. So not exactly
so impressive, yeah.
Not exactly sparkling numbers, but I can see where the Yanks probably wanted another lefty arm in the bullpen.
Maybe the sabermetric says that when he pitches to a guy when there's a full moon and it's 50 degrees, that he can get the guy out 100% of the time.
Maybe his spin rate is extremely high.
Yeah. Maybe Tauchman did something to Cashman. Because I actually didn't mind Tauchman so much.
I kind of like Tauchman too, but they did have. Well, they also recalled, by the way, to replace him. They also recalled Tyler Wade. So wow, here we go with the glasses. Actually, Farachi, I do like baseball savant. Katie, awesome. If you're on Twitter, follow Katie Sharp. She's one who we get a lot of our stats from and things like that. She pretty much said, "Hey, listen, this is the site that I use to go ahead and get all this crap." they have a lot of interesting stats that are on there. But
the other day I was on Angels Savant for the last 24 hours, and you know what? My pants, they're not the same.
Oh, that's great. But all right, let's wrap this this episode up. And oh wow, that's what it is.
Right.
I'm sorry. Before we do wrap it up, we do. I guess he went on Baseball Savant. Peralta's exit velo against is 86.3. Bang! That's what the Yanks traded for him. Thank you, Faraji. Appreciate that.
Yeah. Okay.
Maybe we do have an answer for the madness here, but hey, listen, we'll be cheering for Wandy Peralta. Wandy! Maybe you can go to the stadium and scream Wandy.
Yes. Give me 1 second, Ed, right here. Keep going.
Okay.
I just want to change the lighting for a moment.
Yes. Mood lighting. But all right, let's sign this thing off. So thank you for joining us for this episode of Empire 161. We really appreciate all the support and everything like that. If you're into anything like wrestling and stuff like that, we have the Just Too Sweet show coming up right after us here on Pop Culture Pro. So check that out. 4-quarter show is usually on after that, so you can check out Dave as they go ahead and dive into all things sports. Mets fan, check out Put It in the Books. They're on tomorrow night as well. And I believe Jada and Kyle are on tomorrow night as well. And they're trying to pick their movie. They have like some voting system going on with that. So check on and vote for what movie you'd like to see them cover. Granny's Peach Tea will be back on Friday. It's usually on Wednesdays, but we're going to be on Friday. We'll be checking out and taking a look at the finale of Falcon and Winter Soldier, as well as the week in CW verse. And our movie of the week is actually going to be the brand new Mortal Kombat movie that dropped. So you can go ahead and check that out. So for Jerry, who I think had some technical difficulties, thanks for joining us, and we'll see you guys next week. Let's go Yankees.